What's going on, community? Coming at you out with another weekly PulseChain update. This was an awesome one. So I know everybody's super excited. We got some green candles. Got to see the big pump. We got our 5 back. So we dropped the 4, we hit the 5. That's something that we haven't seen now for a couple of months. I think it was August last time we hit here. So we kind of broke out of some of those, kind of a channel that was there and some resistances that we had seen. And again, if you look, historically, we never really got here before the SEC kind of big death candle. So it'll be really cool to see how much real resistance we have from here now that we've gotten on top of a few of the resistance levels that we've been kind of fighting with in the 4s there. Super pumped to see that. It's always nice to see how quickly everybody gets along once we see some of that kind of price action. So we also have a couple of big projects coming. So the Mintra guys, they're right there. They're launching. 9 inches getting really close. Now I want everybody to go check out the video that CC did. It's on the Fetch Growth. Now again, we do have a slight delay. I know everybody's a little frustrated there, but I'm super proud. Our dev team, they were able to catch a bug in the code that had passed audits, that had been live, that has been out here in the wilderness, and no one had managed to catch it. So big shout out to those guys in the dev team. Couldn't be happier with how well those guys have performed in the time they take to make sure things are perfect. And we're very thankful. So again, I get it. We got a little delay, but we should be very excited at the due diligence, and that should get everybody a lot of confidence in what the team can handle there. So the Pulse chain itself is looking really strong. Now this last weekend was a big event, so I got to go down, get with Gary Cardone. There's a lot of big players there, so I got to do some gland handing. Again, we want to get outside of our ecosystem. There was Scott Melker, the Wolf of all streets, was there. Got a chance to shake his hand, talk a bit. Ryan Harper, who's actually the guy who's runs a lot of these events, and including the Blockchain Summit, which is a big event here in Texas. That'll be next month. So obviously we want to make sure we give those guys a shout out, appreciate their time. Michael, Gary, a lot of really great guys were down there. It was really beneficial, and I appreciate those guys, and they threw a good party. So, we're out here trying to do a lot to get outside of the ecosystem. Some of the other big news that I think is huge is the SEC dropped their charges against Brad Garlinghouse. Now, if you don't know who Brad Garlinghouse is, he's the top of the food chain over there at Ripple Labs. And Ripple had already won some of their cases around security, programmatic sales. People probably saw some of that. It was, a big talking point here a while back. But they actually dropped their charges specifically against Brad and the other member there. I'm pretty sure his name's Christian. I can't remember his name. But Brad Garlinghouse is the most important one. Now, why that's so particularly important is, again, the SEC is basically losing all of their cases in court. Like, they've just been taking L after L after L. And to have them drop those charges there is a really big deal for, especially for us, in RH. So it's a big one for crypto, but especially for us. That case there against Brad, and then also some of the cases around broker and investment contractor, 2 other litigation that's going on right now. And it would be very bullish for RH and where a lot of the ecosystem stands if those guys win. Coinbase, Grayscale, there's a few extra of those going on. Those are huge. Now, again, the SEC also decided not to file an appeal on the Grayscale case. So ETFs are closer than ever. There's more and more of these big guys dropping, requests to try to get approval so that they can go start ETFs. As far as litigation right now, guys, again, it was very negative when the SEC has kind of had their way. We are seeing Elizabeth Warren and some pushes in the IRS trying to hold them back. But when it comes to the courts have basically pushed back on the SEC at every turn, whether it was in freezing assets for Binance, what we have now with some of the securities, again, with Coinbase, the courts are holding up really well. So it's really bullish to see there. And then on that same kind of note, this is something RH touched on where this tweet here, going over, here's the things that criminals use, should we ban them? This is what we have with Elizabeth Warren and a few of these people saying, oh, we're freezing these accounts, which were very small when it comes to some of the stuff going on in the Middle East, or, hey, this is only used for tax fraud or money laundering. This is a ridiculous claim. They use this for everything. Bank robbers use cars. They also use pens. They use cell phones. We don't ban these things. The vast majority of money laundering gets done through TradFi channels and the dollar, period. So, of course, they're also trying to have FinCEN look into and add extra rules around mixers. Guys, privacy is a human right. I don't want to hear it. So one of those things, just to be cognizant, it's very easy to hear those things and kind of get startled. Again, most of us in the space know what it is, but criminals use all kinds of tools. They also use art. We're not going to ban paintings, right? All these things go on. When you look at illegal activity, they use every tool available to them. So the fact that they're using crypto, again, doesn't mean I want people doing illegal things, but it does mean that crypto is in fact a very strong tool, and then it has a lot of advantages. So somehow they also claim that it has no utility, and then they're also claiming that criminals use it. So I think that's an interesting standpoint. So, but to end on a high note, guys, we won't be delayed very long. We're going to be out there in the market. There's other projects coming. We're closer to the halvening. It's looking more bullish when it comes to the litigation and some of these sanctioning bodies here in the U.S. The charts look strong. Guys, this is a great week. Myself and a few other players in the system, our little ecosystem have managed to go out and do some positive things and, reach outside of our echo chamber. Guys, I'll come at y'all next week. We're going to have more updates. You guys are going to see more of CC as we break down some of this. We want to make sure that we give our dev team kudos for finding, the bug and the issues they had. We'll see y'all next week. It's going to be another killer one. Let's get those charts up, boys.